Hello, this is Grinstar. And sometimes when I'm looking at these sites, I see these deals and I'm thinking, wow, I could have all these MIDI files, 12,000 of them for like, what is it, 20 bucks. And it always seems like a good idea. It's like the sample packs I keep on picking up. And I don't think that, you know, what these are really actually um, are chord progressions and music ideas. And so I think, well, I could have the next best inspiration, unknowing that I have stuff like Captain Chords or Melody Sauce that helps me with basically the same thing. And realistically, like with Melody Sauce, you can have like thousands upon thousands of MIDI type of melodies, and then with Captain Chords combined with the Captain Melody Epic over here, you pretty much got the same thing. And realistically, I get stuck in looking at these deals and ideas and be like, oh hey, I can get all these MIDI files, and I will end up never using them, even though I get it from the cheap, because they're it's like 12,000 of them. How many? How I yeah, no. So realistically, today's episode is going to be probably about messing around with some ideas and looking at basically melodies and kind of simply doing something, hearing what it sounds like, and then analyzing it, and then trying to get something from there. We'll see where it goes. So in Melody Sauce, this one's really simple if you're not seeing it in a while. I haven't played with it on camera in quite a bit, maybe a couple months. This one I like. I liked it a lot, and I still do. It is kind of an awesome little tool. So basically, you got your light melodies and you got your dark, which are majorly stuff that goes into the C like 4 and 5 range versus the like C 2 and 3 range for darks. And then you got your simple melody, which is a couple of basic bars, I guess, or you have your really complex melodies. And then you got styles, different styles that you can do for your melodies if you want them to do them in a particular style. Like I want to do like maybe say, ooh, a bright lead or something. And then melody sauce, you have to actually play it to hear it. Let's do this. And it sounds relatively okay. If I remember right, should be able to drag and drop, and then you got a melody. That is 4 bars long. I hope that is not. No, we could take it and of course add any type of VST to it or anything that we want. But if we look at this, it looks like a whole bunch of, what is it, eighths. These are on the 16th bar, and there are two per, so a bunch of eighths, a couple of 16ths. Overall, relatively decent melody. It kind of goes up and down. So if we look at the 2, they kind of stay within the kind of the octave, just bouncing up and down, kind of almost an arpeggiated pattern like that. Relatively cool. And then we got Captain Chords. Captain Chords is a kind of a, wow. How am I up? There it goes. This is one of the plugins, and one of the bigger complaints about this is that it requires the internet to perform its tasks, for version checking, or I mean, for, well, actually for version checking, for to make sure that you're not pirating or anything on it, and a couple other things. I think like the melody may or may not have to hit the internet to get its stuff back, but basically it's a suite of tools. It helps you with your chords, it helps you with your melody, it helps you with your bass lines. It is really cool. And so if we want to add a kind of a, I'm just gonna kind of randomize the chord progression here just to give an example. Oops, didn't want to do that. It could actually help you with chord progressions too, but we don't want those. Or maybe we do. It doesn't matter. And already we got something to work with. Something somewhat nice. I'm gonna mute Melody Sauce here because we're kind of not focused. We're focused on trying to get Captain Melody over here to work. Now Captain Melody reads my chords that I have over here and is going to suggest a melody based upon that. And so boom, I got the melody, and it looks like it's all again kind of a combination between maybe 1/16, maybe a 64th, or let's listen to it. All right, let's export it and see what it looks like at Bitwig. And pretty much the same thing, actually. Although the timing on these are a lot more peculiar because they're not exactly all 1/16, because it looks like there's a, or what eighths basically, because it looks like it gets cut off a little ahead of there. So it brings in some humanization, which is also pretty keen because it's not sounding like a robot all the time, where it's always on the exact measurements or the notes or whatever, the 1/8, 1/16 type of thing. And so there's a lot of variations into that it's not cutting off a lot. And it gives a kind of a difference, because with Melody Sauce, it looks like it's like quantizing a line. Everything's very on point, and nothing, it goes to the markers that it should, where the Captain Melody does not. It stops. So it gives a sense of good rhythm or something like that, right? But overall, the melodies kind of look the same. Sort of. If you look at it in a like an analyzing it kind of way, it may not, the transitions may not go up as much, but it looks like it's still a kind of a rolly hills type of melody, where if you look over, you're in a place and you're looking at the hills, you're kind of like searching back, and you can almost see some hilly type of bacteria maybe on here. So like little hill, maybe like Bob Ross, little hills out from the background, you know, with the fluffy clouds and the mistakes and happy trees and stuff like that. Anyway, so you got the chords, you got the epic, and these are just two of them that I use a lot. We could use Phrasebox, which also takes in these chords and creates melodies based upon type of patterns, like arpeggiators and stuff like that. Because you can always just take these and put a note in between like each of these chords, and then you got something that follows each of the chords, but it's more arpeggiated type stuff. The good thing about this is you can change the chord progression and then update your melody to follow the chord progression. Now, Melody Sauce also does something similar. If I remember right, you can go down to the advanced editor down here, and then change the types of chords that you have down here that it's playing off of. Let me go back to free. Let's change up the melody a bit. Let's mute that one. And we got an entirely different melody. And if we go and drag and drop, we can look at it. And this one's a bit different. And it looks more like it starts off low and goes up high and starts low and does the same thing. It's a very simple, probably light melody. Forgot what I picked. And these are just out of the box type of sounds. We can change the sounds if we want, or we can add in VSTs so to whatever we want. They did this because there was a lot of DAWs that didn't allow you to put in VSTs after the chain. I'm looking at you, Reason. You do that a lot, and so basically it allows you to use this in like plugins like, or I mean, VSTs like Reason and stuff like that. Messing around, you have loop lengths here. You got speed. You could make all kinds of different adjustments on there. If you want to use triplets, if you want to mess with the swing, if you want to make it legato, meaning that you don't have polyphony, that type of thing. And so you get all kinds of these like ideas on trying to do melodies and stuff like that. And I'm gonna pause this sucker for this recording for a bit. Okay, next in our journey into playing around with this stuff. Mostly when I want to do this stuff, it's because I want to pair it because I want to make some guitars added in there. And this is where it falls apart. The problem is that this one's too slow, and this one we need to put it back onto the regular settings of Melody Sauce. Whoops. And let's go back and find let's go back to fast. Let's go back to the regular loop length. Let's go maybe dark and simple, maybe dark and complex. Okay, so another of the features of the Melody Sauce that while on Captain Chords that gives you drag and drop a VST next in the chain and it'll add it up, I have to actually click on MIDI here. Sounds better on the normal octave. A little low. Sounds kind of let's take off the harmonization. That might have been helping the problem. Okay, so in with the problem with like the guitar type of things like this is that there's no change up, there's no kind of additional things that you need to put in there, like like tapping and basically humanization, variance in the velocities and stuff like that to make it a little bit different, because it just sounds way too robotic at this point, right? So we kind of want like some type of humanization. Yeah, he's having a real problem with that. Okay, so with the contact range, or I mean, sorry, with the shreddage range, you can do a lot with velocity. And I mean a lot. You can go to these articulations and you can go into like what I want to pull off. So if I want the sustains, the velocities from 1 to 119, and then the rakes are going from 120 to 126, and pitch harmonics is on like the top end of this. So basically what we're doing is we're hitting a number sustain, and when it goes up to 120, it hits what sounds like a rake. And so it gives it a little bit of difference, but just a tad. But the realization is that it still sounds kind of weird. Now I can go in to say, hey, I want tapping to hit a certain range. I want a staccato note to hit a certain range. I want another range to be power chords. Like maybe say instead of this, I want. Ooh. I want power chord sustains. Normally there's a key press that does it up here that changes them back and forth. So this is telling me my sustains are conflicting with the velocity range. So if I go... So now, what happens is that if the velocity goes between 1 and 59, it'll hit a sustain, but if it goes up to 60 through 119, it'll jam a power chord. I kind of want to take off... Turn off rake entirely. I want to turn off pitch harmonics entirely. That and this setting doesn't really... And then you get into my other problem with this is that after a while the melody sounds kind of off because we're not changing it up or playing the same thing over and over and over again. which is perfectly fine for like messing around or doing something. But you would pretty much want to go in here and you want to make a change and maybe say duplicate this, and then on this one we could now we're actually the real problem in there, and I'm just thinking about this is that we're doing melodies with which one of these should be a rhythm guitar type part that's basically playing the chords or something. It just thumping chords in the background or something. So what we probably need to do is this actually sounds better. So while this one's playing this, we could actually maybe say have this one do the chords, and like maybe say set a strum or something on there. So we can move our contact over with our humanize to be on the chords layer. That was a mistake. There we go. Smooth this whole chain over. I should have just put it in a chain. That sounds kind of basic, but it's sounding a tad bit better. Now, of course, we need to put some more articulations in there, more differences in sound. Like, especially with the main melody, the lead is doesn't sound like it's playing the same thing over and over again. It needs some change up again. It needs some different stuff. So we need to put in like maybe some hammer-ons or some the bigger problem I have with the shreddage. I love the shreddage, but they put an articulation in this pitch bend to make it so when you bend the strings, it's in the pitch bend, and it makes sense when you're playing it live, but when you're doing with automation. And we don't want to do it with every type of note, but like maybe a couple of these when it goes longer, like this one, we want to automate some pitch bend or something. So we want to go to the automation here. We want to go to the MIDI lane. We want to go to pitch bend. We want to click OK. And then the bigger problem is now we got to actually automate the pitch bend. And I'm not a big fan of like for simple automations, it should be like I want to go from like 0 to something else. it's kind of hard to work with. Not that I'm saying it's that hard. It's just kind of annoying. And so in certain areas, it would be great if the one of the only things that ignores this is the pitch bend. As far as I know, I don't think I've ever got it to actually kind of work where it doesn't. It's not. It's one of the few things that you can't VST map to something, and it's kind of annoying. But basically, what I would love to do is maybe say put it on the steps, and so on a certain like over like between here on the step that it would pull up the pitch bend and then turn it off, so it's like not noticeably, and then so you got some semblance of difference in there, but it'll you can pit every time it hits this right here, it'll bend the strings, and so you have a little bit of stuff. So when it's going through, it's bending the strings every now and then. Like that would have been a bend. That would have been a bend. And then you can offset it by using the timing and stuff like that to make it so that it's not exactly done every time, so it's a little bit of difference. But the problem is I can't send that information to the pitch bend, and so it doesn't work. And so I don't think you can change and evolve things that again, great tool, a whole bunch of articulations. But I don't think they allow you to change what that pitch bend actually means. And it's really... I mean, it's great sounding guitar. I love it, but the that pitch bend is like the one thing, and it's like got all these articulations. But you can't change the pitch bend. So you got to automate it, and you got to automate it through the thing. And if you're using like Fruity Loops and stuff like that, there's not a whole lot of this in it anyway, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense of why they want to do it or put it through the VST, I guess, with the VST type of parameters. But even then, so we don't have to use shreddage. We could use maybe say U-Jams guitars, which are also equally pretty cool. Like I like the carbon. And this one also has with the version 2 of these, or even this one, it has the, and I got to be careful because it has the instrument version of it, and then yeah, you have to remember how to do it on this one, but it's there we go. It has its own MIDI built in, but we want to go to the instrument. All right. But I think the problem is it's going to... And it's got a pitch, and it probably does the same thing on this one. Let's see. Good stuff on this one. Not it. I don't know. It's kind of I flip flop between the love for the U-Jams and the contacts. But at any rate, I think this has gone far enough. I just wanted to play around with some MIDI stuff and get my mind off of trying to trying to purchase something I definitely don't need. And you're right, endless. So melody sauce, endless kind of variations into the melodies on there. So anytime I want a new inspiration or new something, I just click the button and it gives me something. Same thing with the Captain Melody and the Captain plugins. Like if I don't like any of this, I can just delete it all. And then re-add the melody. And then I could change like the rhythms and other stuff like that to give in certain variations and the stuff like that. Overall, pretty cool. I'm gonna say at this point, it sounds better for electronic style music. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Now we'll catch you later.